Hello and welcome to Witches and Wizards Confessions channel. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. On this channel, we tackle very sensitive and uncomfortable confessions regarding witchcraft and money rituals. Today's confession reads as follows. My nanny convinced me to sacrifice my children for riches. I hired a Malawian elderly woman to be my house help. She's been my children's second mother for over 8 years. But since she has worked for us, I noticed strange behaviors from my children. But because I was hardly home, I ignored it. She joined my home after my previous nanny left and never came back with no reason. My previous nanny left my house stealing so many stuff, then blocked me everywhere. I hadn't even noticed that she stole from us until this old elderly woman approached me and made me aware. She came at a time that I was desperate for a replacement. The previous nanny just said she's coming back and never showed up on the day she was supposed to come back. When I tried calling her phones, it never went through. To this day, I still don't know what happened to her. I also found out that she gave me fake information about herself, but that is another day. That is a story for another day. Times of desperation will leave you dumbstruck. When the new nanny approached me, she told me that she's a seer and was sent to me by my ancestors to work for me. Truth is, she told me so many scary things happening in my home, and some are things that happened in the past, and that's what led me to believing that my ancestors sent her to look out for me. When I think about it, since she joined my family, my children grew apart from each other, and also they distanced themselves from me as well. They became a lot quiet and preferred spending time alone in their rooms. My house used to be a very loud and busy house, but all that changed when the elderly woman joined us. Another thing is I used to be very scared of her for no reason. She was not doing her duties well, and I would get annoyed and tell myself that I want to confront her, but the minute I would see her, I would just keep quiet. She used to sleep with the sink full of dishes and a dirty floor. The laundry basket was always full. She would burn the food most times because she'd be focusing on watching TV. Instead of me complaining, I would just ignore it like it doesn't bother me, but in her absence, I'd be fuming. She was a stay-in nanny who would leave every Friday, and on Fridays she'd leave immediately after I have left the house for work and the kids have left for school. She'd leave the house in a very messy state. On Mondays, instead of coming back in the morning, she would come in the afternoon. And did I mention that she was a very moody person? Today she wakes up very happy, and the next day she would wake up very quiet and irritated. My kids feared her so much, but somehow that flew right over me. I didn't see all the red flags. In the room that she slept in, there was always smoke coming out at night. When she would leave for the weekend, the room was always locked and she would leave with the keys. Sometimes I would find black powders, but I never suspected anything. The powder would be spread in my house, but I never thought so deep or much about it. I started having dreams about her. In the dreams, she'd always tell me that I live with wealth in my house. Each time I asked where the wealth was, she would point at my kids. The next morning, she would avoid eye contact with me. I started having those dreams regularly. One night, I had a dream that felt so real. I got out of bed and walked straight into her room. When I got there, she had pictures of my kids plugged on her mirror. Each pic had bloodstains on them and also black feathers. She had a black fire pot which had smoke coming out. She was wearing only a black panty and her face was painted with a white paint around her eye. Her stomach was painted in white. She summoned me to release the kid spirit to her and she will give me a lot of money in exchange. I was so scared, but I could not run, nor could I scream. It was like I was hit by a magnet. When I looked back, I saw my kids lying on her floor naked facing the roof. They looked lifeless. I ran towards them screaming, but I couldn't hear myself scream. I tried touching all three of them, but they disappeared. When I tried running out, she pushed me back and gave me a white cloth and a red pen. She told me to write 3 weird names that I can't remember to this day. I wrote those names and the red ink turned into blood on the cloth. A couple of days later, my children's school transport was involved in a car accident and only my children did not survive the ordeal. I started consulting after my children's burial and the old woman left my house finally. It turns out she was sent by my late fiance's mom, who has always accused me of being the one who killed her son. I wasn't even allowed to attend my fiance's funeral because I was accused of bewitching him. My fiance's mom sent the old woman for revenge. The most painful part about this is that she's falsely accusing me. And now my children were dragged into the mess. I will never ever forgive her, and I believe my children's spirits are tormenting her. She has been reaching out to me a lot and I've been avoiding her at all costs. My mother-in-law deserves every horrible thing that she's facing right now. I sometimes dream about my kids. When I dream about them, they are always pointing at my mother-in-law sitting next to my nanny. The nanny has since disappeared. Her phones are not going through. No one knows where she is. Her reference don't even know her. I don't know what to do anymore. But I believe I will find closure if I was to sit down with her and look her in the eye and she gets to answer my unanswered questions. The end. Whew. Wow. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the like button, please, and the subscribe button.